So what is up, guys? Welcome back to the More Nick Ackerman channel. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the Surface Pro 11th edition. This is my new favorite 2-in-1 machine right here. Now, this is the new one that has been advertised probably heavily. You've probably seen a lot about it. This is the 11th edition with CoPilot PC. So you can see right here, 11th edition. This is the box here. And the one I have here is the 16 gig RAM. This is also the X Plus CPU, not the X Elite. I didn't feel the need to get the X Elite, so this is the one I went with. I actually went with the cheapest model, the absolute bottom of the barrel, the cheapest model. It's the one that I felt was enough for my type of usage right here, which is mostly admin type of work here on Windows, and as well as some photo and video editing, which I don't do a ton of on Microsoft, but definitely really enjoy this keyboard as well. It's the Alcantara gray color, and I went with pretty neutral tones. I know you could go with like the blue, the black, all those beautiful colors, but for a long-term use, which I plan to use this for, I kind of like the neutral colors. They're pretty productive looking and pretty simple, and you don't really get tired of them. They're just classic looking. All right, guys, so let me begin by talking about the price and the build and body of this product. So I think they reduced the bezels from a previous version of the Surface. You know, I haven't had many Surfaces in a while, so this is my first one in about 4 years. So forgive me if I make a couple mistakes and call me out on them if I do. But definitely it looks like they got a little bit thinner, but you could still see there's some bezel up there, but that's okay because this is kind of hidden when they put the pen attachment and you put your keyboard, that's kind of hidden. And then also up here, you need room for Windows Hello. So it's not really a big issue. Plus you get something to hold on the sides. So I quite like it. There's also speakers right here on the left and on the right of the Microsoft Surface Pro 11. And it weighs in at about 1.97 pounds. So you definitely will feel this thing. It's a little bit chunky. It's got some weight to it, but it's not like heavy comparatively to like most other Windows laptops, which weigh way more than this. This is like one of the lightest ones you can get that has a full computer right in your hand right here. So still pretty impressive for what it is. You can see there's some nice vents there for airflow as well. And we do have ourselves the power button right here and the volume rockers. Now these are actually plastic buttons. These are not like metal, but the rest of this is a nice solid aluminum around the rest of the body here. We also have this very versatile kickstand, which is a true standout point for the Microsoft Surface line. Definitely really nice and gives you various angles to play around with. And this kickstand can also go all the way back as well. Now there is a little bit of play in the kickstand, so if you do get this, don't worry, that's normal. I looked that up. I found out that that's pretty normal because I was worried about that when I first got this. But I checked other ones, they all do the same thing. So I think it's a part of the design. So don't worry about that too much. And then on the right side, you can see the proprietary charging port. That's the Microsoft Surface magnetic charger that goes there. And you'll see these little divots so you can stick your finger in there and open up the kickstand on both sides. Microsoft logo right there. We have our camera right there. And on the left side, we have 2 USB-C ports right there. So pretty nice. So one to charge, one to plug in and accessories. So pretty good, smart thinking right there by Microsoft. Now, if we go at the bottom, you'll see these connectors for the Surface keyboard right there. And man, let me tell you, those things, they lock into this keyboard really strong. This is one of the strongest keyboard locking mechanisms on any product out here. So overall, just a really solid, durable build. And if you go check out Jerry Rig Everything's video on the Surface, he wasn't able to snap this thing in half. It was incredibly durable. So one of the most durable like 2-in-1s out there for sure, especially when we're talking about like this versus like an iPad or maybe a Samsung thin Galaxy tablet. This thing is very, very strong. One thing I don't like about this Surface though is that the keyboards are separate and you have to buy a keyboard for this to get the full experience because Windows as a tablet is not really optimized first as a tablet. So the $999 starting price is a little bit deceptive. This is really like a $1,200 to $1,300 computer unless you go with a generic keyboard from Amazon, which is not the full Surface experience. That's going to be more of a knockoff version, but it's still going to work fine, but it doesn't give you that satisfying high-end feel that the Surface keyboard does give you. I even went with the base one. You can hear that that loud trackpad. I didn't go with the haptic because I'm not paying $449 for just a haptic click and a Bluetooth functionality. Don't need that, honestly. So definitely I went with the base model keyboard, but that's just one thing I want to point out that I don't really like about it. On the flip side, what I really like about it is that they give you expandable memory. Here you can change the SSD. Well, it's not really memory, it's more like onboard memory storage here. You can change out this with just a screw. So I have the 256 gig model, and if I find myself needing more, I'm just going to upgrade to like a 1 terabyte or maybe a 512, and they're pretty cheap on Amazon to get these storage cards here. So that's really awesome. Also, if you check out once again the Jerry Rig Everything teardown, because he tore it down during his bend test, you'll see that the inside is also pretty easily repairable. So I like that about it as well. Been enjoying the fact that this is just a really great all-around 2-in-1 computer with more modularity, with that, you know, changing of the storage, and also versatility that you don't find on other products. With the included kickstand, you don't need a case or anything like that to do different angles. And showcasing those angles, let's go ahead and use Windows Hello here. And you can really just bring this thing way down if you want. You can use it like a drawing canvas like that, and you could see the kickstand is way up over there. So very versatile. Now I'm going to leave it like this for a little while so you can see what I'm doing here. Also, I got this generic pen from Amazon. I'll leave a link down below if you guys want to pick it up. I know they do have the Surface Slim Pen 2, which I tried in store. I haven't decided if I want to get that. It doesn't charge via USB-C like this one does. This is a cheap knockoff, but at the same time, I only find myself using this to go through. So this works fine for me for now, like to like kind of just navigate the UI, write a couple of notes. I'm not really doing anything heavy yet, so I'm not sure if I could justify the full price of the Slim Pen 2, which is over $100. That's quite a bit for a pen, if you ask me. Now moving on to display quality, I went with the LCD option, which to me has been just fine. I definitely don't find it to be a real big issue when you're going in and reading stuff. It's pretty sharp. There's no PWM issues like you'll find on some OLED panels, no burn-in issues, nothing like that. And the text is really sharp. It's still 120 hertz, which is better than like an iPad Air 13. So I really like that. That is 120 hertz, and everything looks pretty sharp and clean. So I really like this LCD panel. It's actually quite good, if I'm being honest with you on this one. Even though it's not OLED, the colors look really good. And then if you go over here in the system and you go into display, you'll find over here you can change between sRGB and vivid. So that's pretty cool. You can also use HDR on this display. They have adaptive color. Another thing I really like about this tablet is the variation in brightness. One of the things I noticed a lot of my Windows experiences before is that it's not really Windows, the software's problem, it's the hardware. A lot of computers that I have tried with Windows, Windows PCs, they have like this brightness slider and you'll slide it up, but it doesn't really change much. The brightness variation is really weak. But on here, it's got a nice difference here. Like when you're down there, it changes a lot. When you come up, it changes a lot as well. So very good differences in brightness here. Really do enjoy that, because if I want it really bright, it gets really bright. If I want it medium, it gets really medium. If I want it dim, it gets dim. Whereas some other PCs I found will just look low or high. They'll either be on their highest brightness or their lowest settings with not a lot of variation in between. Really do like that. Further exploring this display, let's take a look at one of my videos. This is the M4 iPad Pro 13-inch. And if you're wondering, did you trade your iPad for this? No, I didn't. I actually just added this to my workflow. I did not trade my iPad. I couldn't justify doing that either because it works good for different things. You'll notice that this 3:2 aspect ratio is a little bit closer to a 16:9 that you'll find on certain laptops versus the iPad's 4:3, which has much thicker black bars. So these black bars are noticeable. You can see them right here, but they're not bad. Just still not my favorite though for media consumption. This is not my favorite product out there for this experience. The Samsung Galaxy tablet has the best media experience, I think, with its 16:10 aspect ratio. It really almost fills the entire screen. This is in between the iPad and the Galaxy Tab, so this is right in the middle. Still good though that I can watch everything in the full desktop browser pretty easily. You can do that on iPad and Samsung as well, but it's just, this is the desktop experience. I got my extensions, I got the full web browser, It's just the full desktop laptop experience, and I really do like that. It's really quite great, honestly, considering that this is in this package right here. That's what makes this impressive to me. And I know they've had this for a while, but right now with the ARM CPUs, with the CoPilot on here, specifically designed with the MPU, this feels more like the future. And this feels more like a Surface product that I've been wanting for a long time, as I did try it out before and the battery life was pretty atrocious. We'll talk about how that's improved in this video a little bit further. All right, guys, so let's talk about Windows 11, the software. What I really like about Windows 11 software is how they moved the apps to the middle. Now, I know a lot of legacy Windows fans are gonna like how it's to the left. You can definitely move it back over. That's easily possible. But I like how it's more touch optimized, and I think it's more simple than before. You can see the apps, the way they appear now, look a little bit more tablet-y like, I think, in Windows 11. I think this entire experience is much more tablet-like than ever before, much more mobile kind of looking. I feel like Windows is trying to go a little bit more mobile with the apps, the way they look now. But still retains its desktop experience. Overall, I really do enjoy this. I just think it's much better optimized for touch. And then when you put the keyboard on, it also feels really good for that as well. We'll talk more about the keyboard later. So definitely a nice hybrid, a nice variation between touch interface and laptop experience. However, what I will say is that it still seems to feel more laptop-like. I mean, I love the file system, but when you're using this as a touch-based OS, you know, you can see you can move it around. It's still like you're just touching the desktop experience, which is pretty amazing if I'm being honest. I'm just saying that when you're using this as a touch screen, it's kind of like it's still a desktop with just touch functionality, whereas an iPad is a full tablet trying to be a laptop. So that's how they are just different in that aspect. Some people who really want the full laptop experience will love this much more. It's definitely better in that area. And I personally think this is the full package of that whole two-in-one idea. This is closer to the full package. Now, I find that pretty much everything I do works pretty well on here. I'm mostly just doing light stuff, browsing in the web, using Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Brave browser. I also downloaded GTA 5. It's like my favorite game for Windows. You also have to get Steam to do this, so I have to launch Steam here. Definitely, I don't have it on the actual Surface because I only have a 256 gig. I loaded it onto an SSD, but you can play things like GTA. It is going to have to be on lower settings, and this is the only time I actually got the fans to spin up on this thing. The fans hardly ever spin up when you're doing regular tasks on this. They only spin up when you're playing games or really pushing this thing. And when they did spin them, they weren't even that loud. They didn't even sound as loud as anything like a gaming laptop, nothing like that. Although you're not going to be able to play this stuff on full blast, you can still play it, which was pretty impressive, I found, for this product. But other than that, I play some GTA. I use it for, regular office tasks, the calculator, just basic stuff, honestly, if I'm being real with you. Notepad, drawing, taking notes, Google Chrome, emails, just your regular run-of-the-mill stuff. And it's been pretty excellent. I really do enjoy it. I've also been using the CoPilot PC, the CoPilot application that's built right in. Tell me the specs of the Surface Pro 11. Hit go here, and you'll see what you'll notice is that on here it's a lot quicker than any other computers really. With these new AI enhancements, it's just faster to launch this stuff. And you'll see, there we go. Some older computers are much slower when doing these AI stuff, so very good here. And you'll see here's all the specs: X plus, 16 gigs of RAM. We do have different storage options. And by the way, I don't think it's worth buying those higher price storage options because you can just expand later if you need more storage. And starts at $99, ultra flexible and powerful, making it a great choice for productivity and creativity. And that's not false advertising. That's pretty much true. That's what I found using it so far. I also surprisingly find the cameras to be pretty useful. The rear camera actually takes pretty sharp photos, believe it or not. They're not bad for what this product is. They would definitely work in a pinch. Also, let me go ahead and flip it around. The front video camera is really good. Look how far and wide this is. This is insane. A great video conferencing camera for sure on this one. Look, you can see the entire, hold on, let me back this out a little bit. You can see the entire like setup I have here, the lights, the camera, lights, camera, action, it's all here. So very good for video conferencing on the front. Really do like that as well. Right, so when talking about the keyboard experience, the trackpad is very, very smooth. It does track very well. And of course you can change the speed of how fast it moves around and stuff like that. No glitches, nothing weird like that. Although that click does feel like an older style. I told you though, I'm not paying $450 for a haptic. I'm just not doing it right now. Maybe later, but not at the moment. And you can see definitely tracks very well across here. No problems with that. And then when typing, let's go ahead and type some notes out. Say, hey, what is up? Very nice travel on the keyboard. I mean, it's traditional Microsoft Surface keyboard. You've probably seen this before. This is the Surface Pro, but it's a nice full-size keyboard and very clicky, clacky. You have your brightness right here where you can change. You have your volume right here, and you don't got to press function key to do that. It just works immediately. You can mute the audio like that, page up and down over here, delete. No number row, of course, that's not going to fit here, but easy to type where you rest your hands on both sides. The Alcantara feel, though, of this keyboard is also very nice. Feels super premium, super soft right here. It says Microsoft down there. And overall, just a really high quality feel to the back of this thing. When you go ahead and close that thing and you open it up, it does turn on Windows Hello and it does see you and then you're right in. Also with this keyboard, if you have the kickstand up right here and you want to bring this out, you can go ahead and bring this out and you could get a flat typing experience or a raised typing experience. So another versatile feature for this product. Also, your slim pens will fit right in there. If you get the charging one, it'll charge in there as well. And then over here, let me go ahead and show you this. If you're like working at the desk, you can just flip this up for privacy. It'll lock the screen while you go do what you gotta do. Come back, open it up, and it'll ask you to unlock again. So that's the full Surface experience right there. And it's really, really cool because you don't have to hit a button if you got this keyboard. If you do have a different keyboard, that's not gonna work. You're gonna have to hit the button every time. Not a big issue, but it'll be something to remember. Whereas with this, if you just open it up like a folio case, it just kind of pops open and asks for your passcode and all that. So one of the biggest things about Windows in general has always been the battery life. With Intel and AMD products really disappointing a lot of people just for having weak battery life. The ARM CPUs are definitely improving things here, and they also give you these energy recommendations. Turn on dark mode, which I don't know how the dark mode is really going to help LCD too much. That's probably more for OLED, but definitely changing the automatic brightness, best power efficiency over here. If you're running on battery, I find this to be better than most Windows laptops, especially ones without ARM CPUs. The new ARM CPUs, those are probably really great too. But I'm talking like your traditional AMD Intel stuff. Usually those laptops, they drain pretty quick, 3-4 hours, they're out of here. This one is more like, in reality, I know they're advertising like 14 hours. That's probably like video playback with really low brightness on Microsoft Edge. I'm getting more like 6 hours of battery life on here, sometimes 7 if I'm really conservative. But I have this one issue. If I'm running Google Chrome, which I am right now, this thing is an absolute memory hog. And I don't know if this is just a Windows thing. On Windows, it does that. Let me know. But that thing is a memory hog over there. Let me go ahead and get the task manager going here. We'll go to task manager. Take a look over here at the CPU, the tasks right here. And you'll just see, look at all the memory. Hold on, let me bring it closer. Look at all the memory Google Chrome is taking up over there. Just an absolute hog over there. Drains the heck out of the battery on this product. So I find myself turning off Chrome if I need to save more battery. I just go straight over into Edge, and your extensions will sync with Edge as well. And this is not a promotion for this browser. I know some people don't like Microsoft Edge, but if you want to save more battery, you better use Edge because it's definitely going to save you battery over the Google Chrome when you're using a Surface. I find the Brave browser to be somewhere in between. It doesn't really beat either of those, but it's somewhere in between. And basically, since I'm talking about how the Microsoft Edge makes this a better experience on battery, I also want to mention that it's just kind of like, just like you would find on an Apple product. If you're using the Apple services on an Apple product, great battery life. Same here with the Microsoft Surface. If you're using the Microsoft apps specifically designed for this product, your battery will be further extended. You start using third-party software, definitely drains it. And gaming, absolutely. GTA 5 annihilated this battery. This thing heated up like no tomorrow. Definitely didn't like burn my hands. It was pretty warm though. Toasty is what I mean. But definitely playing games, pushing in some third-party software, this thing will drain battery much faster than advertised. So I feel like personally that most of the apps that will save you battery life are the Microsoft-based apps on here. But still, the Snapdragon CPU still makes this better than most Intel and AMD-based computers that I've tried before. And I'm not saying it's better than like the Surface Laptop 7. That's probably way better due to its larger size. Like a 15-inch has a much bigger battery. But this one specifically is not as big as the battery. Audio quality is very loud, mostly because the speakers are firing from the front. It's just a great experience if you like to listen to videos, music, and you don't like to use headphones. And all the Bluetooth connections in the sound department all did very good on here as well. So if you do want to go ahead and connect things, that also worked out very well on this product for sure on the Microsoft Surface 11. I also really like the Windows Hello. And while there's no fingerprint like I find on some other Windows products that have Windows Hello, some Windows products have Windows Hello and the fingerprint. This one doesn't though. It'd be nice if they would integrate fingerprint into the power button as well. That would be an extra add-on to make this even better. But they don't, so it's mostly Windows Hello here. I do like it though. It reminds me a lot of the iPad Pro, but definitely this goes right in. The iPad Pro, you got to swipe to go in, so that's a little bit different. And the pen experience, like I say, I've been using the knockoff pen, has been good. The Sim Pen is of course going to be better, but you can definitely get a generic pen if you want to use that. Still has stylus support either way. The color choices I talked about earlier, I really like the base silver here just because if I get tired of a color, I'm going to probably get tired of like a zingy color, like a blue. I know it's a nice color, but it's not a computer I want to keep for a long time. So I like to stay neutral so it stays kind of like classic. I just kind of like that. So that's really good. So is there anything I dislike? I basically talked about how the battery life is, the display quality on the LCD, the X Plus being a great performer, even though it's a 10 core, the X Elite, of course, is going to go a little further, but I don't need that much power. And I don't think you do either, unless you are playing some more gaming or you're doing more heavier things. You might want the X Elite, the OLED display, if you really want the OLED display for video consumption. Although, again, your video consumption will probably be better on like an iPad or a TV or something like that. This is, to me, this is more of an office or an on-the-go office in your laptop bag. This thing is just like a desktop wherever you go versus more of a media consumption beast. You can still do media consumption on here, no problem. It can do that great as well. It's just not the best product, I think, for that. It's more of a productivity-focused product, I feel like, with this one. So definitely quite nice. While it is very durable, it just feels a little bit clunkier than like a Galaxy Tab or an iPad Pro, which I know it's competing with. So Microsoft can work on making this lighter in the future, especially considering that they're trying to market this kind of like a 2-in-1 tablet laptop thing. So they should make it lighter if they can figure out a way to do that. Other than that, I don't like how Chrome drains so much battery, but this is not a Google product, so it's not really a complaint because, again, this is not a Google-based product. This is a Microsoft-based product. But other than that, I could find myself using this for many years. And the final question I want to answer is, you might have, is this better than an iPad Pro? And the answer is yes and no. If you want to do it for laptop things, like if you want to buy this for laptop-based things, it's way better than an iPad Pro. If you want to use tablet-based things, it's actually much worse than an iPad Pro. The iPad Pro is much more optimized for tablet-based applications. And if you just want to play around and do a little bit of light work, I think the iPad Pro is better. If you want to do serious work and you want to take your desktop on the go, this is far more productivity focused. It's far better than an iPad Pro. Even if it doesn't have, the same M4 power, it still has really good power now with its X Plus CPU, which is definitely taking Windows into a new stratosphere. So yeah, that's how I would break it down. Also, if you've been into the Windows ecosystem a long time and you don't really want to go over to Apple for something like that, and you want to use the Microsoft CoPilot, all that stuff, you're really going to love this thing as well. So that's basically how I would break it down. Am I getting rid of it? Am I going to keep it? No, I'm not getting rid of it. This thing has been really amazing. Allows me to take my research, my work on the go without running into issues that iPad presents. For example, like not letting me use my extensions in the browser, not letting me really browse in a way that a full desktop experience is like. So I'm not replacing either product. I'm just going to use them for what they were intended for. So that's my take on the Microsoft Surface Pro 11. I think it's worth the money because if you consider everything you're getting in here, it's less than the price of some higher end Windows PCs. It's cheaper than some MacBook Pros. And it's about the price of, like, even with the keyboard, it's about the price of a 15 Pro Max. But it can do way more in terms of probably make you some money in your career or get you through your college or get you through school, stuff like that, which you're not going to want to do on a $1,400 or $1,300 phone. So yeah, great product here. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it like a 9 out of 10 because there's always room for improvement, but it's been really, really good. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll catch you all in the next episode on the More Nick Ackerman channel. Thank you very much for watching, and peace.